Hello and welcome to a MMPR video. So I did a video earlier in the week where I shared with you this map, this Mighty Morphin Power Rangers map of all the issues, hoping to help people who are gonna try and collect either the individual issues or graphic novels or even hardbacks that are out there, etc. So I wanted to do something similar with the spin-offs. Now, I don't have a roadmap like I did with the first one, so it's not as easy as that, but I do have the individual issues. So I'll give you brief of what issues there are, and hopefully, if I remember them correctly, a sort of a little layout of what to expect, maybe. We'll see how well I get on anyway. So I will try and do this in order where possible, if I can remember when these sort of were released. But one of the first sort of releases was actually the same year that Mighty Morphin Power Ranger started, and it was called Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Pink. And this had 6 issues, and basically this was set sort of, I'm going to say, during season 3, after the Pink transfer, so Cat was now the main Pink Ranger. However, there was, I can't remember what, there were some evil villains, and the Pink Ranger was called on because Tommy and the others weren't around to help. We also get a moment where Zach and Trini come to help, and we see them in this blossoming relationship. I haven't read this for a very long time. I've actually downloaded it on my my Amazon Kindle, so I do intend to read this at some point again, because like I said, I don't remember all the details. There we go, there's Zach and Trini there, and I think it was a pretty cool little mini series. There we go. So the first sort of crossover that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers did with another sort of universe was with DC, and they did it with Justice League. Now, I'm not sure whether this was Boom trying to capture DC fans, or DC fans trying to capture Boom Power Ranger fans, etc. But this went on for about 6 issues. I'm not gonna lie, I cannot for the life of me remember what went on, but I remember reading it. I mean, I'm not a big DC fan, but obviously I know some of the characters. You got Brainiac, you've got Superman, you've got Green Lantern, Batman, obviously, Wonder Woman, so Flash. So there are some characters that I sort of recognize because I've, what's the word? Seen them in films and TV, etc. So I sort of understood them a little bit, enough for me to have to watch this and enjoy this. And I feel like they ended up in a different dimension. The Power Rangers ended up in the DC dimension or something like that. Anyway, if I remember correctly, it was quite cool. It was a lot of fun. Now, the biggest part of, the biggest spin-off that they achieved was Go Power Rangers. And sorry if I'm doing it like this. The way that I put them in my boxes makes them all sort of lopsided. So there were 32 issues, and this was meant to be set sort of straight after that initial day of Rita landing, etc. So this was before the Green Ranger, and we're introduced to such characters such as, for example, Matt Cook, their soup putties. They save the astronauts. We get our first introduction to the Ranger Slayer as well. So she ends up at the end of that issue, if I remember correctly. Oh, sorry, it helps if I actually show you. And then I think the thing that I always liked Go Power Rangers sort of character-driven. However, when they started crossing over with other issues, so it started to get a bit frustrating. So we've got Go Power Rangers Back to School, which is sort of after Shattered Grid. So it's sort of, Shattered Grid ended up sort of being like a little finale. Then it started off a new run where we've got Rangers crossing colors when they go into different worlds. We got loves that we perhaps didn't see on the small screen. Multicolored Rangers. And then we start leading up to green with evil. We also get the first alpha as well. Go Power Rangers Forever Rangers. I think that's where that story ends, if I remember rightly. And then this is where I'd always liked the character driven. In fact, I think at one point Go Power Rangers for me was better than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And because of the character driven stories. But when Ryan Parrott took on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, he was still writing Go Power Rangers, and he crossed them over. So we see bits in here that fit into this bigger necessary evil storyline. So we learn about how the Rangers become Omega Rangers, for example, and so forth and so forth. And I think it's not that I got bored. I just felt like I preferred it when they weren't crossing over in the bigger events, because they were running great, very great, etc. And we get this, I think this is the best. This for me was one of the best issues with, we see Rita's journey in the dumpster, etc. and how she sort of becomes sort of who she is in that journey, etc. So that was a really, really great issue. And how the Rangers decided to become Omega Rangers rather than going to the pretend peace treaty, etc. And then it ends up with issue 32. So you got issue 32, and then you've got the Back to School and Go Power Rangers Forever. So yeah, but it probably was the right time for this to end with Ryan Parrott seemingly running the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger issues. Then we have the second crossover that they did with a sort of another character, which was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I never realized how much I needed this in my life until it was in there. Written by Ryan Parrott. He must love Turtles just as much as Power Rangers. We get Tommy sort of trying to find his friend, and as such he becomes a member of the Foot Soldier. Shredder steals his morpher and morphs into the Green Shredder, and then eventually the Power Rangers, I can't remember if they lose their powers or something happens, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have become Power Rangers. It is top drawer. They even have their Turtle Megazord just to make it extra fun. But yeah, a fantastic read. So definitely 5 issues, nice and easy, a really fun crossover. Then we start to head back towards the Coinless sort of universe. So the Ranger Slayers returned after the events into Beyond the Grid. She's returned from that and trying to make her, I guess, her way home, and perhaps on her own redemption journey, etc. So we got Free Comic Book Day, The Road to Ranger Slayer 2020, and what followed was Ranger Slayer 1. And then I think this sort of irritated me, because then you've got Drakkon New Dawn 1 to 3, and it really should have been Ranger Slayer New Dawn. I really didn't like that, because Drakkon doesn't exist in this at all, although this is picking up the pieces of what he did to this universe, etc. And it was a really good read, and that's what I like, the fact that they did that recent Coinless issue Unlimited, because I feel like that feeds into this quite nicely. But yeah, it's 3 issues plus Ranger Slayer and then The Road to Ranger Slayer. I can't remember if that has a little bit in there as well. Following that, we have Power Rangers Universe 1 to 6. Now this is, I think this was sort of about how the Phantom Ranger comes about, and it's about how Dark Spectre originally tried to break through the morphing grid. It's been a while since I read it. I wasn't necessarily a massive fan of the characters because they were all new characters thrown together. But I feel like perhaps by the end of it, perhaps they had grown on me. But if I remember, I'm trying to remember if they become the Morphin Masters or something along those lines. I feel like that may be correct, and maybe I've just given away the whole story to you in drips and drabs. But it's been about a year since this came out, etc. And like I said, it wasn't my favorite thing to read and sort of review, etc. each month. But hey, it's part of this spin-off universe, so you know, gotta take it where you can. So not necessarily a spin-off, but what Boom Shurers do is they usually give us 2 issues a year of unlimited. So for example, this year was Hyperforce and the Coinless, which feeds nicely into that Drakkon sort of series, but these also feed into what's happening in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Maybe you could argue that actually they should be slotted in between those issues. Maybe that's true. Maybe I should do that. But so far they're out here, and I'd have to go and remember where they fall into that. The Death Range is an easy one because that leads into sort of 100. Countdown to Ruin was the bit around Red Andros' story because he was starring in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers at the time. And then before that we had Edge of Darkness, where we have Phantom Ranger. I think he's sort of discovering that the Imperials are alive. I probably said that quite wrongly. And then we had Heir of Darkness, which at the time, Astronomer was sort of, I think she had a couple of issues in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers where they sort of crossed over, etc. So, yeah. So they are quite fun. And like I said, maybe I shouldn't have them in my spin-off box, and they should be slotted in because they do feed into this bigger story. Then probably the most bizarrest one that I never expected was another crossover with IDW, and this was Godzilla and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And actually it's pretty good. And if I'm remembering correctly, this has 5 issues. It has 5 issues, but it was really a lot of fun. And that's what these spin-offs are. Other than Go-Go Power Rangers, a lot of these are just a lot of fun and just enjoyable. You can just read them. You don't have to read anything else other than that particular series. Unlimited, obviously, like I said, crossover. Go-Go Power Rangers crossover. New Dawn, maybe a little bit. But everything else, I feel you could just read and just enjoy on its own. And finally, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers crossing over Volume 2. And this is 5 issues of pure genius. Once again, they sort of lose some of their powers, etc. And they end up morphing into their sort of dinosaurs, etc. And it's absolutely a lot of fun and very enjoyable. And I feel like there's definitely opportunity for a round 3 to come out at some point in the future. I really do hope that is the case. And that's not it for spin-offs. We have the announcement of Ranger Academy, which starts in October. We've already had a free comic book day, which I've not read, not reviewed. I've been meaning to, just hasn't happened. And we also have Amy Jo Johnson's Power Rangers The Return, or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Return. I can't remember what order it is. And basically, in the recent annual or 30th anniversary, there was a special, and basically she made it so what if things were different? So what if, for example, the 3 Rangers had stayed part of the Rangers? Would it have worked, or would it have been catastrophe? And then it picks up 30 years sort of later on. So I'm looking forward to those at some point. So I'm hoping my video of spin-offs has perhaps helped you decide on if you're going to try and collect any of these, or just gives you a starter to think about what's out there as well, maybe. So if you do like my video, do please support me by subscribing. I'd really appreciate that. Make sure you look after yourself, very important these days. Thank you to those that subscribe to my channel. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.